talk about some of sort of the details, because it's very complex. It does take effect immediately. He signed it tonight. It's now law, everything?
Yes, the assault weapon ban is effective immediately. There's some other sections of the law that could take 30, 60 days. You have to give people the right to be aware that there's been a change in the law. This is not about taking law-abiding citizens and turning them into criminals. People purchase guns legally. They purchase ammunition legally. They have a right to notice, so they know what, under the new law, they have to do with regards to either guns they possess or ammunition they own.
So the assault weapons ban obviously is sort of the top item here. After a certain point in time, they will be illegal. You will not be able to purchase them anymore. But if you own one now, explain what happens.
You have to register that gun. And this way we're going to have a registration, a database, in which we can run checks against that database. So if you've been convicted of a crime or you have serious mental health illness, we're going to know. And under the law, you wouldn't be able to retain ownership of that gun under those kinds of circumstances.
But how's that going to work? Will the state police knock on your door and say, "Hi, you have an unregistered gun. We'd like to take it from you"?
We're going to publicize, and we're going to let people know what the law is. And I believe law-abiding citizens, when they know that they are required to register a gun, just like you have to do to own a handgun, they will comply with the law.
But what about not law-abiding citizens? I mean, how does this address the illegal guns problem that we hear so much about from Mayor Bloomberg, for example?
Well, when people don't follow the law, they break the law, then there's a consequence and a penalty to that. If you drive over the speed limit, you're breaking the law, there's a consequence to that. If you drink too much and you drive over the legal limit, there's a consequence to that. So we're going to give people plenty of ample time to know what the changes in the law are so they can abide by that. And I'm confident that all of these law-abiding legal gun owners will understand what the new law is and they will abide by that.
Okay, so that deals with the assault weapons ban. There's also the magazine issue, right? We're knocking it down from 10 rounds to 7 rounds as what's legal?
Correct. Going forward, you will not be able to buy a magazine with 10 rounds. It'll be limited to 7. We're grandfathering in the existing magazines that were purchased legally, but you can only have 7 rounds in those grandfathered magazines.
But how are you going to know?
It'll be enforced. People, it's like any other law on the books. There are ways to enforce that law clearly on prospectively. Licensed gun dealers will understand what the law is. There's a penalty if you violate that law. If people get caught with more than 7 rounds, there is a consequence. They can face a serious fine. They can also face a Class A misdemeanor. And I do believe that law-abiding citizens will follow the law. I mean, Liz, I would say there's another very critical piece to this legislation that the governor made a priority, is to make sure that people who have serious mental health issues don't have access to a gun. And one of the things that he called for in this bill was this mental health reporting piece. So this way, if a mental health professional feels that someone poses a dangerous threat to themselves or to others, they would report it to the county mental health director. If that director concurred, they report it to DCJS, and they then report it to local law enforcement. We check to see whether or not they own a gun. And it's about getting the guns out of the hands of people that pose serious threat.